D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you will find the articles that I read to bring you this, and you can read them for yourself, or you can just watch this video. I'm going to break them all down for you. I also want to just say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to our channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like I we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so now that we got that business out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started on these 3 stories. So for my first story this week, right, you guys, so it looks like they have given the go-ahead for the Green Lantern show called Lanterns. Now, the show will be on HBO, and it's going to be an HBO original. Now, I just want to say that when James Gunn did his announcement, there were some project that I was like super excited about. But the one I was most excited about was this Lanterns show. And the main thing was because they said it was going to be like True Detective, but with Green Lanterns. And I thought it would be in space. And then it said in the thing that it was going to take place on Earth. And at first, I didn't like that. I didn't like it because I was like, no, they're Green Lanterns. I want this in space. I don't want, a Hot Wheels track. I want it in space. They're like the policemen of the galaxy, But then I started like reading stuff and hearing stuff like that. And what they said was that there's going to take a place like, I believe it's a murder. And it's going to take place here on Earth. And I think they said it was going to be another Green Lantern. But don't quote me on that because I can't remember that part of it. So there's going to be a murder. And these two, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, are going to solve it. And it will lead to a bigger thing that takes place that will launch the rest of the DCU. And it'll be a bigger factor into that whole thing. And I thought, okay, you know what? That's actually kind of interesting. I am kind of interested in that to see what they do there. Now, and I also like that it's Hal Jordan and John Stewart. I love those. I love both of them. I think I like John Stewart better just because I grew up with that Justice League show growing up, and I really liked it. So, like I said before, I do have certain things. I already did a video on it, but Chris Mundy is involved, which he's all right. But David Lindelof and Tom King are involved, and I've already said what I'm going to say about them, but I'll say just real quickly that David Lindelof is, I loved his one show, The Leftovers, but everything after that to me has been like just woke as shit, and I don't like it. And then he, got fired from Star Wars. And I have a feeling it's because he just wanted to do some crazy nonsense that nobody was interested in. Maybe Bob Iger said no, And then, of course, Tom King. My feelings on Tom King are that Tom King sucks. He's M. Night Shyamalan, but for comics. He can give you a hit every now and then, but those are far and few between. And the rest of the stuff that he puts out is pure shit. The guy can't write an ending to save his life. So they announced this week that there was a bunch of shows that were going to be all shows were going to be originals on HBO. And I think that and then after they air on HBO, they'll eventually go to Max and everything. I want to just say also that I think that going to HBO instead of Max, I think it has a certain prestige to it that I think that this show will benefit from, like True Detective. And I think that that's always a plus when you put it on HBO instead of on just Max, because like you get like House of the Dragon and those shows, it's obvious that they put the money, the time, and the effort into them. And I think it pays off. So I'm hoping that this show gets the same kind of treatment. Now, this will be an 8 episode series. So I don't know about you, but I'm super happy about that. And like I said before, Mundy will serve as the showrunner, and then Lindelof and King are co-writers on the series. And I think I have to be honest with you. I think that bringing in Jeff Johns would have been a good idea, because no matter if you like the guy or not, and, if you believe all the nonsense that they put out there with zero evidence, then that's on you. But Jeff Johns has probably written the most memorable and probably the best, if not one of the best, if not the best, Green Lantern series. So I think that, if you know, I mean, no matter how you feel about the guy, that's just facts right there. I mean, Darkest Night is it's just amazing. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't like Darkest Night. So I think this is good. I don't know if Guy Gardner from the Superman movie will make an appearance in this or whatnot, because he will be in the Superman movie. But we'll see if he does. And if he does, great. If he doesn't, you know, what are you going to do? And yeah, we'll see how it all turns out in the end. All right, you guys. So that was my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week, all right, you guys. So Superman started filming, right? And we have got a bevy of photos to go over because we've got new pictures of the full-on suit, which I already told you I did an episode last week as of filming this, and I just really liked it a lot. I thought it looked good, and I really enjoyed it. But we'll see how it all turns out and everything in the end. But I just really, really love it. And yeah. So we're going to go through the characters. I think Mr. Terrific is probably my favorite from this, but we're going to go over everybody because I have thoughts. Okay, so the first one we're going to go is, like I said before, is Superman. So this is the Superman suit. Right here, I think it looks pretty good. I think that it looks like it fits, and we'll see a different angle of this photo right here. But we're gonna see some other stuff. Right now, if you look, there's the muscle definition there. And I just think it looks really, really good. He's got like the armor, if you will, which I think that the armor can work depending on which Superman you're trying to do. And I've always said it before that I do trust James Gunn. So I do think that like I said, I like this, so I'm totally fine with it. So this is another angle of him with Mr. Terrific, which we'll get into him in just a second. But I love the S on it. I know a lot of people don't like the S. If you look, though, right there, right by the Krell bow, which is this part right here. This is the Krell bow. This is the elbow. This is the Krell bow. Don't argue. I'm right. If you know what I'm talking about, you're awesome. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're sorry. Okay, so he's got some kind of like armor. Right. And I do like the bunching around the Krell bow. I think it's because I saw somebody comment that it was because he doesn't have the muscles put into the suit. Like they made the suit a little bit bigger so they could shove in stuff to give him muscles. Like if you look around by the S around the chest area, you know, it's kind of bunching there too. And it's because they need to add all the muscles in, which I've always thought that, you know, I'm like, don't get me wrong. I like seeing a hot, sexy, buffed out Superman, but it's not necessary. Superman's not powerful because of his muscles. He's powerful because of the freaking sun. Okay. So this next one, he's getting arrested, which we're going to look into all these other characters here, but I just want to talk about this one because we're getting it from a up angle view. I think he looks great there too. You know, my whole thing is just with David Corenswet is his acting. I don't think he's the best actor on the planet. But the only thing I saw him in was that Netflix Hollywood show, and that show sucked. So we'll see. Maybe I just because I didn't. I'll comment on one person in this because I only got this one picture of him. That's Rick Flag Sr. there on my left, your right. And I don't remember the actor's name, but he's going to voice him in Creature Commandos. But I didn't want to comment on him because he's just wearing all black and doesn't look all that special and everything. We'll talk about the engineer a little bit later. So here he is. There's a closer view of that in a different angle. But I think that I think he looks great here. I love it. I think it's great. I love the bright colors that they've chosen for this Superman. I like the S. I love the trunks. I know some people were complaining about the trunks. Some people were saying they weren't short enough. Some people were saying they were too short. I'm like, no, I think it looks great. I think it looks great. Somebody mentioned on the last video that they're like boxer briefs, and I agree, but I like it. I really do. I just love it. Here's a side angle of it. And I think this looks great too. I just think it looks great. Let's go into the next one. Okay, so here's another view. I really like this view of him. I like that little side pose thing. He looks great. And there's Lois. We'll talk about her in just a minute. But okay, now I want to talk about this. First off, the S on the back. Mwah, mwah, so good. Bravo for him putting that S on the back. I approve 100%. I love the cape. I love the length. I love that it doesn't touch the ground. I love just the sleekness of it. I'm glad that he used a practical cape instead of a CGI cape. No offense to Zack Snyder, because but I just didn't like it. I like the practicalness of this cape. And then this is him from that angle before, because you see Mr. Terrific's arm there on the side, but he looks great here. I love this look. I think this is Superman to me. He looks like Superman. He's got the great jaw. His hair looks great. I just love everything about this. I think it really, really looks good. So we'll see how it turns out. I know some people don't like the armor factor to it, but I do. Here, this one real quick, and then we'll go to Clark Kent. So this one right here, I love this shot. It's him going into the Metropolis PD, and he's got Ulysses there. That's who that is, but we'll talk about him later. And then look at that, him going in there with the cape swooshing like that. It looks fantastic. I loves it. It's great. All right. So now here's his Clark Kent. This I do not like. He's got a poodle sitting on the front of his frickin' forehead. It looks terrible. I do not like this look at all. I think it looks bad. Look at that. Ugh. I saw somebody put up a picture of Zooey Deschanel, and they're like, how can you tell? How can people, it was one with her on the set of something, and she's got bangs, and then next to it is a picture of her on the red carpet, and her hair has been pulled back into a ponytail. She looks great, but they're like, now I totally get why people couldn't tell Clark Kent was Superman, because look at Zooey Deschanel. You can't tell this is the same person. I was like, that is an excellent point. But I think these fuckers took it way too far. This isn't just bangs. You gave him a Brillo pad on his freaking head. This is screaming Flashdance to me. I don't like it. I don't like this Clark Kent look. It looks terrible. It's like that chick from Star Wars with the puffy thing on her. I can't remember what her name was, but I hated that character anyways. Yeah, this looks bad. It just looks bad. But it is what it is, and I'm holding out judgment in terms of like hardcore judgment, but I'm giving judgment now because I really just don't like this. It looks bad. I don't like this Clark Kent look. Okay, now I want to talk about Mr. Terrific here. Okay, so I don't remember this guy's name off the top of my head. It's Adi Gunanagi. Okay. So I just want to say right off the bat, this is my favorite costume from this whole thing. So I think that if you look at it, it looks, and I'm throwing up a picture also, but it looks comic books accurate in my opinion. And he looks great. It says fair play on the sides, fair play on the back. Now I know some people were comparing this to the CW one, and I thought that one looked okay. And I did see some people not liking the hairstyle on this, but I could not disagree with you more. I think he looks fantastic. Like here he is from the back with Superman. That ass looks great. And he just looks perfect in my opinion. I think that he looks great. I think that I love the T that he has going across his face. I think that looks great. I think sorry, I didn't get it from a front angle, but I think just he looks great in my opinion. He just looks awesome, looks good, looks great. Thing standing next to Superman. It'll be fun to see what they do with Hawkgirl and Green Lantern and everything. If it's as good as these so far, then I am all in. I'm so yeah. So there's Mr. Terrific. Sorry I went through that kind of fast, but yeah, he just looks so great, and yeah, I really like it a lot. Okay, so we're gonna get into some of the side characters now, and talk about them. It's mostly the Daily Planet people, but we're gonna talk about them. So this right here is Mrs. Tessmacher, and I don't know the name of this actress, but she really does look great in my opinion. She looks really great. She looks like a sexy like woman. She's just ready on the prowl kind of thing. But she is Lex Luthor's assistant. And I think that she looks great. I'm really liking it a lot. And Mrs. Tessmacher was from the 1970s movie. And I think that it'll be really interesting to see where Sarah Sampio, yes, I looked up her name, but what she does with this. But as far as this goes, I think she looks great. And she's wearing like a purple right there. I love the little bracelets. She's got the little bangles. That's what they're called, right? And everything, but they look kind of futuristic, I guess. But yeah, she looks great right here with the blonde hair. Everything looks great. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the Daily Planeteers or whatever, and we're gonna talk about them because I think that from this they're on like some kind of spaceship thing. It looks like, but the main part of this is just that I think they all look pretty good right here. I think that right here, Wendell Pierce as Perry White right here looks great. But he's just wearing like a regular clothes. You know, that's the thing about these non-superheroes, like Jimmy Olsen right here. He's just wearing like a Letterman's jacket, it looks like. And then I'll talk about Lois at the end, but I want to talk about everybody else first because they've got smaller roles. Don't expect them to be in it for very long, and so I just want to get it out of the way. But these two look great right here. So then moving on to the next group of people. So we have right here. We have Beck Bennett, which I did a video on that. You can check it out. And he's playing Steve Lombard. And he looks pretty good right here. I think that overall, he looks great. And I mean, but at the same time, he looks like Beck Bennett, you know? And I'm pretty sure, don't expect him to have an overwhelming amount of screen time if you get my drift, because I don't think he will. I don't think any of these people will have a huge amount of screen time. So next to him is the character of Cat Grant, and that is being played by Michaela Hoover, and she's in Cat Grant. They did it on the CW before it went to the CW, but before they moved everything to Canada. But man, her boobs are looking great. But she's the entertainment reporter. And I think that right here, she looks pretty good. Like, she's also got the blonde hair. The actress does not have blonde hair in real life, but she looks good. But again, they're all wearing normal clothing. The same thing right here with Christopher Trope. Is that how you say his name? I'm not quite sure. Or Ron Trope. Ron Trope. His name is Ron Trope. And he's playing, Ron Trope is the character, and Christopher McDonald is the actor playing the character. Sorry about that. I got the names mixed up. But again, I think that they even though I think they look great, they just look like people in regular clothes. All right, so let's move on to Lois Lane here. So she's wearing a purple top, which is very reminiscent of her from the animated series. And this picture right here just like reminds me of the animated series, you know, back in the day, which I loved. I grew up with that. I don't know if you grew up with that, but I loved it. I just thought it was great. So I think she looks great here. I think that the pants look all right. I don't know, but I think she looks really great. She looks like she's like right there. She's ready to go. She's ready to be into the action. I mean, obviously she's not in action right now. She's just got off of a spaceship. But I think that, you know, looks wise, I think that this is just great. I think that it's screaming, Lois Lane to me. I think Rachel Brosnahan, I was a little leery before, but looks wise, I think she looks great. I think overall, everybody else just had on plain clothes and looked fine, but she looks really great. I think that she's screaming Lois Lane in these pictures. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about, and I did say something about it earlier, this is Ulysses right here. And I know some people thought that it was going to be Ultraman. That was the rumor. And then James Gunn put this thing up that said Ultraman is not in this movie, which I kind of didn't believe him. But now that I'm seeing this and people were saying it's Ulysses, I do believe it because, and I'll show you, I'm throwing up some pictures of the character from the comic books, and it looks just like him, except for he's got this mask, which reminds me a lot of Black Noir from The Boys, which worries me on the fact that, you know, will people be all burnt out because they've seen these characters before just in another spectrum? So there he is up close. That's him coming out of the Metropolis PD. And like I said before, he just looks like a bulkier Black Noir. I mean, he looks good in terms of that, but here he is arresting Superman. So it's like this picture from before, but this is actually him throwing him on the ground and then cuffing him and everything. And so there he is from the side. I think he looks good right there. And there's a close-up. I showed this earlier. Now, standing next to him is the engineer. She's also supposed to be a villain in this, and that's Maria Gabriela de Ferreira. I think that's how you say her name. I don't know. It doesn't matter. She becomes all silvery and she's not that here. So maybe this is beforehand or they're not going to do that. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to get mad about it. I think the authority is just dumb, but whatever. But I do think that, Ulysses, I think that comic books wise, he doesn't exactly match up from the neck up. but from the neck down, it's fine. It's pretty good. All right, you guys. Well, I think that all of these outfits I think are pretty good, and I'm quite excited for this movie. Yeah, we'll just see how it turns out. I'm hoping it turns out well, because again, I've always said this before. I trust James Gunn. I I like his writing. I like everything that he's done in the past. That I've seen or I can remember. And I just trust him with this movie and with the DCU, so we'll see what happens going forward. All right, you guys. Well, that was my second story of the week. So for my third and final story of the week. All right, Potterheads. Some people are just going to be mad no matter what. But some people are going to be really happy about this. On one hand, I'm really happy about this. I think this is great. I am quite excited for it. I think it's going to be really, really good. So here's the thing. They have picked their showrunner and director for the Harry Potter series, which they announced this week was going to be on HBO, not Max. And it was going to be an HBO original. Now, the first thing I want to say before I talk about who is going to be in it, the first thing I want to say is I honestly believe going to HBO instead of going to Max is a great decision. I think that HBO brings a prestige that I think that Max doesn't bring. And I'm not trying to crap all over Max, but I just think HBO is better. You've got and I've said this before, you've got House of the Dragon, you've got all these shows on there that I just think that they take the time, the money, to put out a quality product. So that's what I think is going to happen here. I think we're going to get a quality Harry Potter series, which I'm really excited for. And we'll talk about the controversy in just a second, but I know that some people were not excited about it because of, J.K. Rowling, which I will talk about it, and I have no problem talking about it. So who have they hired, you guys? So they've hired Francesca Gardiner and Mark Mylod. Sorry, I said her name crappy and not him. Okay, because but I don't care. So she's from, I think they're both from Succession. I'm not quite sure. She's definitely from Succession. And then he is from Game of Thrones. He directed some Game of Thrones. Now, what do I think about this? First off, I think Succession is fantastic. So I think that right there automatically, again, the prestigeness of it makes me think that this is going to be taken seriously. And even though it will be for kids, it will take the source material seriously. The guy coming from Game of Thrones, I didn't, the problem with Game of Thrones was not the directing. I mean, every episode wasn't like stellar, but overall the directing was pretty good. And I don't know what episodes this guy directed, but overall the Game of Thrones episodes were directed pretty well. Also, Gardiner, I don't know. She also worked on his Dark Materials. Now, I didn't read his Dark Materials, and I only saw the movie, and the movie sucked. But from what I understand from fans of those books is that the show is really good, because what they did, I was talking to a friend that had read the books, and she was really excited about the show because she hated the movie. And she said that one thing that she really loved was they put a lot more stuff from the books into the show. And I was like, oh, good, because that's what they want to do here with this Harry Potter series. They want to take the books, and each season is going to be one book. And they're going to, I have a feeling the last season might be 2 seasons. The last book might be split into 2 seasons, but we'll see. So, and they want to do it so they can tell more from the book. And this is going to be an 8-part, from what I understand, 8 episodes, and which is 8 hours, which is great if it's an hour each. And I think that's great. I think it's fantastic. I'm super excited about it. I think this guy also had said something about the article which will be down in the thing. Also did he directed some Last of Us episodes, or at least one. And I think he said he Entourage. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. But one thing that I'm really excited about is all the information that was left out of the movies from the books, and especially that 6th movie. That 6th movie is like my least favorite because they left so much out. And I was just like, I am not happy about that. But yeah. So let's talk about the controversy of this whole thing. So the controversy is the J.K. Rowling situation, because a lot of people are trying to cancel J.K. Rowling on her views. And let me just say right now, J.K. Rowling is too big to be canceled right now. I'm sorry. You guys just got to get over yourself. Okay. And it's her comments on the trans, the activity going on in Wales and in the UK, because I believe she's from Wales. And I know a lot of people want to crap all over J.K. Rowling. I want to just say right now that J.K. Rowling has said nothing wrong. That is my stance. That will always be my stance, unless she comes out with something after this recording and says something that I don't agree with. But I also just want to say that J.K. Rowling is doing a service to women right now. I standing up against stuff that is completely erasing the existence of women, and to think that she is somehow not a feminist, when I think of feminist, at least the good sense, in like the healthy sense of the word, I think of someone like J.K. Rowling. And that is why I stand with J.K. Rowling in this situation. And you may not agree with that, and that's fine. You're going to get mad at me, move along, fine. But, I won't go in depth into the things that I agree with what she has said, because then this video would take forever. But I think I'm totally on her side. Now, it will come down to casting, which J.K. Rowling, she signed a great deal. She has the final say, and she helped pick these two people, which I think is great. I think getting behind the camera talent is just as important as getting on-screen talent. And the on-screen talent I'm very interested in, because I'm also interested in something else, but give me 2 seconds. Because I'm wondering, I know a lot of people will freak out if Hermione is black. I am not one of those people. I know people were like, those movies weren't diverse enough. And I'm all like, well, that's not J.K. Rowling's fault, because she does say some people are black and Harry, I do think it says something about Harry's pale skin. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember everything. But I would not be upset if Hermione was black. But at the same time, that stuff doesn't bother me. But as long as they hire a good actress, because and they don't rewrite the character like they did in Percy Jackson, like what they did with Annabeth, not the Annabeth from the books. I'm also interested to see in what they're going to do as far as locations. Will they still use the same locations that they do for Hogwarts? The Oxford, they use Oxford. I think they use Cambridge. They use all these old buildings and these places for like the hallways and the stairs and everything. And I'm very interested. Will they use the same locations, or will they build new ones? And a small piece of me goes, I really want them to use the same stuff, because like the hallways from Hogwarts are just so iconic, and the Great Hall. But at the same time, I go, maybe changing it up is better, because right now, for me, for instance, I am reading the books with my kids. We're on book number 3 at the moment. And we finish a book, we watch the movie. And for me personally, watching the movie will give me, when I read the books, I had a vision of what it looked like. But it was from the movies, because I hadn't read the books until after the first movie came out. So then for the rest of it, I go, maybe this is my children's Harry Potter. We will, of course, we'll watch the movies, but maybe this is what they'll grow up with, instead of, growing up with what I grew up with, the books and these movies or whatnot. Although I was much older when the movies came out. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I know people are all like, Jake, down with J.K. Rowling. Listen, she's not going anywhere, so get over yourself. And I would just say that other than that, I think that this is going to be absolutely fantastic. I personally cannot wait to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm all on board with it. All right, you guys. Well, those were my 3 stories of the week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about the Lantern Show getting the green light, 8 episodes on HBO? Do you agree with me? You think this is a great idea putting on HBO? Do you think the story sounds interesting? You know, on a scale, what importance does this play as far as all the DCU content that's going to be coming out from James Gunn? Is this on the top of your list like it is mine, or is it towards the bottom because you just don't care about those stupid Green Lanterns? Also, tell me, what do you guys think about this Superman suit that has been leaked? And what do you think about Mr. Terrific and all the Daily Planet people and everything? And then Ulysses, the villain of the story and everything. Tell me what you think about all of these people and their costumes and everything. I'm really excited about it. Again, I will say this. I think the suit looks great. I love everything about it. I love the colors. I love the S. Love the S on the back on the cape. Looks great. Love the cape. Love the shorts. Love everything. I love it except for Clark Kent. Clark Kent's mop dew on his face looks bad, but we'll see how it turns out. I could end up liking it. You never know. And then finally, tell me, how do you guys feel about this Harry Potter series going to HBO and getting 8 episodes and finding the showrunner and a director? Do you like the showrunner and the director? Did you watch Succession? Do you know what Game of Thrones episodes this guy directed? Don't tell me. It doesn't matter. It's fine. But tell me what you guys think about this. And tell me, do you think they should keep the locations from the movies, or do you think they should just find all new locations? That'll be interesting to see what they do with that kind of thing. And tell me, who do you think they should cast as the trio, or anything like that. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. And you can do that. You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my weekend review. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my weekend review.